conclusion of tape one. We're on tape two, beginning of tape two. We had to change locations because of conflict of schedule and other meetings that were scheduled at the other location. Anyway, Paul, come on back over here. Let's continue with your list here, Paul.
Okay. I was at David Thorstad. I was talking about some of the dates that we got a better location now. We got the ocean. The bathroom.
Water pipes, yeah.
The bathroom is right there upstairs. Oh, I'll go anyway.
Yeah, go ahead.
I saw my David Thorstad, and it's like it was December 2nd, 1978, that we had a meeting out in
Who's they?
NAMBLA.
Continue with that. Oh, once you're going to talk about NAMBLA? Okay, we're talking about
I was
NAMBLA.
talking about David Thorstad and how
Right, okay.
I was how I met him.
And you're looking at your calendar there.
And I have, it's kind of marked. It's kind of weird how I mark things. I don't put anything except for.
Will that take it there? Yeah.
I'll have to get a close up on it later. It's like, I don't know how I even remember they like it in marketing thing. They just got NAMBLA written there. That's when they formed NAMBLA, when they actually formed it.
What was the date on that again?
December 2nd, 1978.
Were you there?
Yeah.
When they formed
Boston
NAMBLA?
Church.
Huh?
The Boston Church, yeah.
Remember the name of the church?
I got the name of it somewhere. But I have to think of it right now. Boston Community Church or something like that.
Who was there when they formed it?
David Thorstad, a couple of the guys that they became the steering members later on and stuff. I'm not exactly sure who was all there. I know David Thorstad was the main one there. I believe Andretti was there. Andriette, I think it's Andriette. He was kind of a kid at the time, so Bill Andriette. And several other guys that were there also. I'm not sure exactly.
How many people were there?
Probably 1 to 2 dozen.
Where were they from?
Mainly from Boston. They used to be called the Boston Boise Committee, and then they changed them to becoming
Boston what committee?
Boise.
Boise, okay.
B-O-I-S-E.
Okay. Will that take it there? Yeah.
I'll have to get a close up on it later. It's like, I don't know how I even remember they like it in marketing thing. They just got NAMBLA written there. That's when they formed NAMBLA, when they actually formed it.
What was the date on that again?
December 2nd, 1978.
Were you there?
Yeah.
When they formed
Boston
NAMBLA?
Church.
Huh?
The Boston Church, yeah.
Remember the name of the church?
I got the name of it somewhere, but I have to think of it right now. Boston Community Church or something like that.
Who was there when they formed it?
David Thorstad, a couple of the guys that they became the steering members later on and stuff. I'm not exactly sure who was all there. I know David Thorstad was the main one there. I believe Andretti was there. Andriette, I think it's Andriette. He was kind of a kid at the time, so Bill Andriette. And several other guys that were there also. I'm not sure exactly.
How many people were there?
Probably 1 to 2 dozen.
Where were they from?
Mainly from Boston. They used to be called the Boston Boise Committee, and then they changed them to becoming
Boston what committee?
Boise.
Boise, okay.
B-O-I-S-E.
Okay.
Except that sounds like something that should be in Montana. And then I was at a convention in New York with NAMBLA in June of 1980. was for some kind of meetings they were having. And I think it was a parade or something they were having a parade, and I went out there to be around them and stuff.
And how many were there at that meeting?
I'm not even sure, but that one was just a lot of people. And then June of 1982, I went to I think it was Washington D.C. for I think it was during the 19th or something. I got the date written somewhere, but I can't read it. That's how bad it is. It's the bad copy. It was for a nuclear demonstration. That was in Washington, D.C. and stuff, and there were a bunch of us marching with a bunch of other groups that were marching against nuclear weapons.
That was NAMBLA?
Well, NAMBLA was part of it. There was some other demonstration that was taking place at the time for an anti-nuclear demonstration. So it wasn't just NAMBLA, it was all kinds of groups there. There was a big parade for it and everything. I just happened to take part in it with NAMBLA. Then in October of 82, I went to Philadelphia for a meeting that they were having. They had
October 82.
Yeah, 82. Now it was over, I think it's Columbus Day. It was in October. It was during Columbus Day holiday and stuff. They had a meeting at big convention hall and stuff.
NAMBLA again.
Gay, yeah. They had other groups there too. They had the Philadelphia gay and lesbian groups there. They had people from what they called Fag Rag and magazine and stuff. They had Robin from the local gay youth movement they had out there and stuff. They had all their speakers and stuff from out there, and they had what other names down? I got that written down somewhere. I have to get into that, but I don't want to get into detail with it right now.
We can get into detail later if we have time. Depends on how much time we have.
Okay. And then in December of 82, I went out to...
how many people were at that Philadelphia meeting?
There were a lot of people at the Philadelphia meeting. They had FBI agents and everything else all around there. They had people from the press were taking pictures of them. They had all these gay people taking pictures of them. So it was kind of a big thing that they were shooting.
What was the FBI doing there?
We think it was the FBI. They were bugging the places that they were trying to find out what was going on with this group, what they were trying to accomplish, because it was a NAMBLA meeting.
Yeah.
But
who all from NAMBLA was there?
Oh boy, that's a big one, because there was a lot of people from there. I mean, David Thorstad was there, Bill Andrea, the attorney that they had, which was Michael J. Lavery. I'm not sure if Hugh was there. I'm sure Wayne Sunday was present. Robert Rhodes or Manning Rhodes. I'm not sure what his first name right now.
Were you molested at all these meetings?
Well, there was on the trips that were there, yeah.
So were you molested at the Boston meeting, and the New York meeting, and the Philadelphia meeting? Who molested you?
Different people. I don't know who they all were. I mean, Thorstad. There was Hugh Hamill. There was Wayne Sunday. There was Carl Ehlers, which was me. Summer convention in June of 80 was a picnic and stuff like that. We had.
Is that why they had you there?
Me and other kids that were there. That's what my purpose was for.
Okay, keep going. Anything more in NAMBLA?
Not to come back on them because there's a lot of them, but
yeah.
I'll go on with
Well, let's discuss NAMBLA later on. Depends on how much time we have.
Okay. Next name on the list is Harry Anderson, who I met.
Is that Harold Anderson?
Yeah, Harold Anderson. I called him Harry. Whom I met through, like I said, Carlson's group. And had sexual relations with him, I think it was about 10 times exactly. And I was usually at the Red Lion Inn. I think it was, I'm not sure, but I think it was still the Hilton at the time. They changed the name right about the last part of the 70s or early part of the 80s. They changed the name from Hilton to Red Lion Inn, and I never had figured out which it was when I was there because I never paid attention to it much. But that's where most of them took place. I also went to Council Bluffs with them, that was from 78 to 83. I was with him, and 83 we had a big argument. I didn't want anything to do with him, and that dealt with my friend Andy, who was doing sexual things and stuff, and I didn't want to be messing with my friend Andy.
What do you mean sexual things?
Well, we were at some parties and stuff, and he was having sex with himself.
Yeah.
When he was like about 12 years old.
Andy was 12. What's happened to Andy?
I don't know. I haven't.
Was he doing kinky things or just straight sex?
Well, mainly kinky things.
Like what?
Well, oral sex and we tied him up and stuff like that, which is why I really got concerned, because he was going to do the same things that he did with me to him. And this is like my little brother, so
Yeah.
anybody can mess with him. And
So,
anyway,
did he mess with him in spite of your argument?
he did up until then. And then I kind of was at all the parties and stuff, and it's like I kind of pulled Andy away from him. And
Would Harold Anderson allow this? You didn't pull him away?
He had nothing to say about it,
Okay.
because I told Harold Bear that I wouldn't go to the parties anymore. Actually, I wouldn't bring any more of my friends to the parties if he didn't keep him away from Andy.
Because of the kinky things, or just in general?
In general, I didn't like the guy. I never did. I mean, because he always tied me up and beat me and burned me cigarettes and stuff. I just didn't like him.
What did he pay you to do that?
Not enough. $50, $75.
Tight one, huh?
Yeah. Next person on the list is Kent Bruner, and I was with him about 10 or 20 times.
Kent who?
Kent Bruner, or Kenny Bruner. He was involved in Carlson.
B-R-U-N-E-R?
Yeah, B-R-U-N-E-R. He was involved with Walter Carlson's group, and that's how I met him. It was either, and that went on from 77 to 83 when I pulled away from Carlson. In 83 I pulled away from a lot of guys. I figured they didn't, I guess, well, the person I was around and stuff at the time and stuff, went for the money after that. And they didn't go to Carlson's parties because they didn't get enough money for going to them, so they stopped them. But it was also because my stepdad died and a bunch of other friends died and stuff, and we just...
They died? Your friends died?
Well, I had one friend that, a couple of friends that committed suicide. And, my stepdad died, then my aunt died, and my great aunt died.
Why did your friends commit suicide?
Two of them I had no idea why they committed suicide. The other one was involved in Satanism, and he just couldn't handle it anymore.
Do the Satanists encourage suicide?
Sometimes. Depends on what their purpose for you is. If they have no purpose for you, yeah, they will encourage you to give yourself for a sacrifice, which I've never seen anybody actually do.
Give himself up for sacrifice?
Yeah, I've never seen anybody do it.
Yeah. But you've seen him go involuntarily.
Yeah.
You told me the last time.
Yeah. The next name is Joe Burke. He was also involved with Walter Carlson's group, and that was about 10, 20 times from 77 to 83.
What
He was
town?
one that I got in Omaha. And he's one that I got mainly involved with Carlson's group. He was the second one I got involved in Carlson's group, and he's the one that got me involved with Andreessen directly. And so I don't know what he did for a living. All I know is that he liked boys. I don't want to say much more. Next guy is, was at the time I thought he was John Mahoney, and now I know that he's Eugene Mahoney. And happened from 77 to about 86. I've seen him at parties, and I had done a few sexual things with him under 5 times. I was with him. In fact, I think it was more like 2 times I did something directly with him, and then there was other times I was with him that he was with other young men and stuff. And I met him through Bear's group. And then there's another guy, his last name was Nelson. I don't know what his first name was, all I know is that he was a lawyer.
Well, this last one, he's in Omaha.
Nelson?
The other one before that.
Oh yeah, Mahoney? Yeah.
Mahoney. What is his occupation?
I don't know what his occupation is.
Okay.
All I know is that he was a pretty powerful with all of
Well, break in here, Ted. You have a phone call from your sister. So
Oh, okay.
can you just break in?
Where's he going to take it?
Take it in here.
I'll be all right.
the yeah, Ron Nelson. All I know is that he was a lawyer from the Omaha area. That's his last name. And I met him in '83 and '84.
How old guy is he?
He's probably in his, well, at the time he was 83 and '84. He's probably in his 30s. Probably early to mid 30s. And I was with him twice. I met him at one party with their this guy is a guy named Jay Durer. He was also a lawyer. And met him at a lot of parties in Omaha, and I also seen him in Washington, D.C. And that was going on through 80 to 86. And I was with Bear and also with King. I know he was a lawyer. We talked a few times. I was with him like 3 times, sexually.
And he's from where?
He's from Omaha.
Okay. But he was in Washington, D.C. also.
Well, he went for a trip. A couple of trips went down there and stuff, but one trip I really remember most. This guy's Mike Heverin. He's a teacher out in, I think it was Payan or something. He got canned because of contributing to delinquency or minor giving him cigarettes. But he had some very questionable tapes that I remember him doing stuff.
Well, what time was that? When was that?
That was from, it was in 1980. Took a bunch of trips out to another town, and he used to film us doing different things.
Porno films?
Well, some of them were, but he filmed some other films too, but he also did that. For certain kids, he'd pick them out. I was with him about 4 times.
What do you mean you pick them out?
He
Kids
would,
on the street or kids that were with you?
He picked out kids from his class. He was a teacher. Kids from his class and stuff, and they'd go on field trips and stuff, and then they would film different things, and then he'd pick them out during them trips and stuff, which ones he would start abusing sexually.
You take pictures of the
Figure
ones
out
you
which
wanted to go
ones.
after.
Yeah, he'd figure out which ones were easy targets. I wouldn't say anything.
How could he? Oh, I see. The ones you were worried about, the ones that would talk. What town is he from?
He was from, I think, I'm not sure if he was from South Omaha, but I know that he worked at either Payne or one of the schools in Omaha. He got fired a couple of years back.
Oh, you said some school, Paley or something?
Payne or
Yeah.
La Vista, or somewhere out there.
Is that a part of Omaha?
Well, it's in Sarpy County. It's
Okay.
not in Omaha. So. This guy, all I had was the last name. His last name was Todd. Well, I called him was Mr. Todd. He was with Carlson. I was with him 5 or 10 times in 77, 83. And it was in Omaha.
How old a guy is he?
He's probably in his early 20s.
And what, you know what he did? Any of these people did?
I don't know what he did. I know that, well, actually I shouldn't say it. I think he did something with, well, he was going to school. At the time he was going to UNO. So that's all I remember about him is that he went to UNO.
How many times did you say?
About 5 to 10.
And they
So,
were
you know,
all
I knew he was a victim from before and stuff because we had talked a lot and stuff. He had grown up being abused by these guys, and he just was like 20, in his early 20s, I think maybe 20, 21.
So he was some of the earlier victims. I mean.
And these guys had been going on for years before they even got a hold of me. The next guy is Carl Ehlers, and he was involved with NAMBLA. I met him out in New York. And I was with him about 3 times, and a kid named Harold Baker. He was a kid that was always with him. When Carl Ehlers got arrested, not sure exactly when he got arrested, but he got arrested and charged with sexually abusing some girl or something. He'd actually sexually abused a lot of other people, but they didn't want to bring all of it out.
Where was he arrested?
I think in New York. I'm not 100%.
You know what his occupation was?
No.
You know where he's from? Was he from Omaha?
Carlers? No, he was from out there on the East Coast. So I only met him through Nammo. This guy is Tim Anderson. And,
Any relation?
to
Harold?
No. Tim Anderson was probably in his 30s. And I met him through Carlson too. He's always at the parties. I was with him. I was going with him 3 times.
Where was this? What city?
In Omaha. His interests were in, at the time, he liked younger kids.
How old was he?
In his 30s.
Okay, you said that.
Next guy is Wayne Sunday, which I was with him one time. He's kind of a fat, plump guy, but kind of sick. Met him through Nambo too out in New York. Stayed at his place most of the time I was in town. I stayed at his apartment. And, he was on the steering committee with the Nambo. He's one of their head guys.
What did he do for a living?
I don't know what he did for a living. I know he was the head guy on the steering committee for Nambo and did a lot of work for them, but I'm not sure what he did outside there. I mean, I could probably figure it out.
How old a guy was he?
Probably in his 30s, kind of bald on top, fat, and I had hair on both sides, but no one else. And guy. Next guy is Larry King, and I was with him under 10 times, which is actually about maybe 5 or 6.
The Larry King from Omaha?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then about Franklin Credit Union. Met him in 80, and I met him in 82 or 83 at the parties. Seen him in 80 at rituals. I seen him in 79 at a couple of rituals, but I never really knew who he was until 80, and then I was introduced to him. And in 82, 83, some stuff happened. I met him at the parties I met him through Bear. And then he started inviting me to his parties and stuff, which I never really had to do anything with him as long as I kept his big shots that he brought in happy. He didn't expect nothing from me. He paid me good.
Who were the big shots he brought in?
A lot of them, I don't know. A lot of them were like senators and congressmen from other states.
State senators or U.S. senators?
To them.
State senators or U.S. senators?
State senators, U.S. senators, congressmen, governors. I mean, that's where I got involved with the Washington, D.C. and stuff, and went to Washington, D.C. a lot. And he was also, I believe, involved with Monarch, because I remember seeing him, or a fat man that looked like him, maybe younger, in the early 70s and stuff when I first got involved with Monarch. So I think it was him. I'm not 100% sure. Off an Air Force Base, which is also where I met Wall.
Which Wall? Name it. First name. I want it from you.
What, Jerry?
What was his first name?
Jerry?
Yeah. Jerry Wall,
Jerry Wall, the FBI. He was an FBI agent in Omaha. Traveled a lot.
When did you meet Wall?
Actually, I'm trying to go through that. I'm not sure, but I remember seeing him in a lot of the things that we did all through the midway through the 70s up until probably after about 76 to about the time I got away from everything in 86. It's about a 10-year period that maybe, about that.
How many times did you see him?
I seen him a lot of times. Whenever I went to training and stuff, he was one of the guys that was there. I never really got to, not every time I went to training, but about once every couple of months I'd see him.
Training for what?
Monarch.
Okay.
He was
I just want you to say this.
Yeah, okay.
So there's no question about what you're talking about. You understand what I'm saying?
He was one of the guys that did the mind control stuff that would kind of be like the protector. He'd kind of talk to you when things are happening and stuff and kind of try to make you think that he was on your side and stuff and you could trust him. You couldn't trust nobody else, but you could trust him.
Well, see, when I say Jerry who or Wall who, what I'm trying to do is, I don't want anything to be for granted. I want it, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, okay.
I want it all to be,
I remember him
want it all to
because
hang out.
I remembered him connecting with Larry King and stuff because they had met a couple, they talked several times. Larry King provided some boys for him. There was a party, I remember there was a small kid that Jerry brought to the party. This is like in the late, before I pulled away from the thing, 86.
How old was the kid?
Probably about 6.
Who was the kid, do you know?
I believe it was his son. Because Pastor John showed me a picture of Wall one time and just asked me if I knew who the guy was. At the time I said he looked familiar, but I didn't have a name for him. Then we started talking about something one time, and he didn't have these pictures again and stuff, but he mentioned something about some guy and stuff. I said, "You show me a picture of him." And he goes, "Which one?" I said, "One with the kid." And I knew I'd seen the kid because it was the same kid.
Where did you see the? Where did you seen the kid? Where you saw a picture of the kid, and then you tied it into this party?
Well, see, I seen the kid at the party, but when I seen the picture of Jerry Wall and his son, but I didn't know it was Jerry Wall and his son. All I said is the guy looked familiar, but I said the kid looked real familiar. The reason the kid looked more familiar than Jerry was because at that time and stuff was I had been going through I was going through at the same time and stuff. I was going through memory of all the kids that were victimized at parties and stuff, and his face was one that was at a party and stuff. And I have a tendency to, when I see the pictures of the victims, I have a tendency to recognize them before all the perpetrators, because in the past when I was doing the MPD and stuff, even there was blocks on the perpetrators. There was other victims, there was no blocks on them, but who was perpetrating or who was sexually abusing me or whatever they were doing to me, there was blocks that would block them out. I couldn't see what their face looked like. So it's like when I was showing pictures of them, there might have been a resemblance. Like I know I've seen that person before, but I couldn't connect it right away. With the kids, there was no blocks, so it was easy to recognize him, but I didn't exactly know what it was from.
Okay, this kid was about 6 years old. What was the year on that again?
That was about 86.
86. So the child now would be.
He'd probably be about
13 years old.
Well, 11, 12. Because I'm saying 6. It's 4 to like maybe 5, 6 years old. And I was, depending on what year this is.
86. This is.
I don't count 93 yet, so 4, 5, 6. I just had 6 years. I don't add 93.
8 years later. 86, you say?
4, 5, 6. It's only been about 6.5 years.
Okay, so today, how old would that kid be?
Be about maybe 12.
Okay.
I'm 12 years old.
Okay, you said that Larry King would send you out to politicians and congressmen, senators. So how did you know they were congressmen, senators?
Well, a lot of times when we were like in Washington D.C. and stuff, I figured it out after a while when they came in, and like some of them had bodyguards. They'd come in and look around. And they'd always be like, they'd always have forward guys that would go in before they would. If they get shot, I guess the forward guy would be shot. And that was mainly with the congressmen and stuff. The governors, we went to different states and we met with, I think I was only with 2 governors.
What state did you go to and when?
There was one out in New York or Massachusetts. I've been trying to figure that one out because where we were at was like real close to either side. So I don't know where it was at, but I do know that I met with Senator Barney Franks, who was from Boston, or something like that.
Is he U.S. Senator?
I believe so. Barney Franks.
Did he molest you?
He had sexual relations with me.
Okay.
That's later on.
Is it Franks? F-R-A-N-K-S? Okay, who are the governors? Can you remember? Did you recognize any of the politicians?
I don't recognize too many of them. I didn't ask who they were. The only ones I really knew was Studs, a guy named Gall. only state senators from Nebraska, as far as I remember.
Did you recognize, aside from the fact that you had sex with some of these politicians, at some of these parties, did you recognize any prominent senators or congressmen or anybody? Even though you may not have had sex with them.
A lot of the parties I went to with King had prominent people, because in Washington, D.C., whenever we were down there, you guys had parties. At the beginning of the party, you had a lot of young guys and stuff that were servers. We'd sometimes serve stuff, sometimes we'd be up in the background, we'd be walking around the party and stuff. Nothing was to take place then. After the party was over, the ones that were involved with him, or the ones that he was trying to get political favors from, that won whatever they wanted, they would stay or they'd come in after the party was over, or the next day. See, so at the party, nothing even abnormal. I mean, if somebody was in there and stuff, they'd see no abnormal activities going on, so they would, honestly be able to say that. I've been to parties, but I've never seen anything. So, but I've seen some parties down in Washington. I've seen President Bush there, which I'd rather not talk about him.
Wait a minute, what year was that? Was he president
that was
or
vice president? That's when he was still vice president. I've never met him as president because he became president in '88, and I never went around him after that.
You saw him at how many of these parties?
I've seen him at about 3 or 4 parties. And
This
at
was
every one of
before-
the parties, you had a little ID card that you had to have. And they had a little scanner thing, and when you went in, they ran it across this thing to get in there and stuff. They had special agents everywhere, Secret Servicemen everywhere and stuff. And I fell off the balcony of the place. They had a little window and stuff. I was sitting on there, and I fell off. Didn't get hurt. I got up, but I dropped my card, and I had Secret Servicemen with about 500 guns pointing, about 20 guns pointing at my head when I tried to go back in. Until our king came over and straightened it out and said he belongs in here, and that was kind of a spooky thing when you have all those guns pointing in your face and you're only about 15, 16 years old. But the reason was because the vice president was there, so they had to have all the Secret Service. But I also seen at some of them, I've seen people like Maureen Reagan, which is, I believe, President Reagan's daughter.
What did Vice President Bush hang around after the party was over, or what?
He was after the party a couple of times, and we were hiding in the closet, but I didn't do nothing with him. He was with a black kid, and he was with a white kid.
What do you mean with a white kid and a black kid?
Well, there was one...
Tell me about the time when you were in the closet.
Well, me and this other kid, we were...
Who's the other kid?
I can't even remember right now. He was from the Washington, D.C. area. So he wasn't from around here, but we were just sitting in the closet talking, just kind of trying to mind our own business, because we were staying away from the rest of the party. We were in a back room in the bedroom.
Was this after the formal party was over?
Well, it was kind of during the formal party, but it was after a lot of people had already started leaving and stuff, and we remember that a couple of Secret Servicemen came in. One went to the window and looked around outside the window and stuff. The other one came in, looked in the closet, and he thought he'd seen us.
Was it
He had a
dark?
flashlight. The lights were off. He didn't even bother turning the lights. Come in with a flashlight. Looked in the closet. I guess he didn't really look around it because me and him were sitting on the floor right below him. It kind of looked like this. He didn't even look down. Kind of looked like that and stuff. Turned around, walked out of the room and stuff, and then we seen this other guy come in and stuff, and I didn't recognize him at first.
Was the closet door open or closed?
It was partially open.
Okay.
So we could, we could see out there and stuff. And, it's like the 2 people I knew as Webb. There's 2 kids that I knew as Webb and stuff. One of them was from Washington area. He was a white kid, and the other one was a black kid. I seen it at 2 different times.
2 different webs. One was a white, one was a black kid.
Yeah.
Okay.
One was from Omaha or somewhere out here.
Was the white kid or the black kid from Omaha?
The black kid.
Okay.
He's one that was from this area. And I seen at the time Vice President Bush go in, and all he did was the kids performed oral sex on him. That was it.
Kids what?
Performed oral sex on him, and
The kid performed oral. Which of the black kid or the white kid?
both of them. Well, first I seen him at 2 different times. First with the white kid, then with
When
the
you
black
were in the closet?
Yeah, we were in the
Was that
closet
the-
both times.
Oh, were you?
That was our normal hideout. Me, him, and other kids and stuff. That's where we hid out at. We go on the closet and stuff when we want to get away from the party.
So you were in that closet twice when Vice President Bush came in?
I was in the closet more than twice, isn't it?
I mean, when Vice President Bush came in, two separate parties, once with a white kid, once with a black kid? Is that right? So you saw him twice?
Yeah.
And the kid had to perform oral sex on him? And what happened after they finished?
And he just got up and left, and after the white kid knew that we were in there. The black kid didn't have any idea that anybody was else in the room and stuff. But the white kid, his name was also Joe, and it was Webb, and I'm not sure if that was his real name or if he just tried to copy the black kid, because the other kid's name was Wally Webb. Was his name. And the other kid was Joe Webb. But he told us, okay, you guys can come out of the closet now.
The white kid did?
Yeah, he knew we were in there because he was one of the kids that used to hang out with us all the time. Maybe like 3 or 4 of us, we just sit in the closet and stuff.
Well, he used to hang out in the closet and stuff. He figured you were in there, huh?
Well, he knew we were in there because he seen us go into the bedroom before we went in there. So we told him we were going in there. He said, we're going to go in and, in the bedroom and stuff and talk. Because that's what we did. We went in there and talked and stuff. So he says, okay. He says, I might come in and join you in a little while. Because it was the only place you could hide from Larry King at. He never knew where you were at when you were in there. He always figured you were up in some room with somebody, and so he never went and bothered looking for you. So he just disappeared for a while, and he'd go and look in the bedroom. He'd never look in the closet, which had all kinds of stuff in it, too.
What do you have in there?
Clothes, anything. I mean, he was kind of a wild guy. I mean, I don't know if anybody knew that he was a drag queen, but he liked to dress up in women's clothing a lot of times. I mean, you got Queen of the Max, and
You're talking about all kinds of women's clothing.
he had some women's clothing in there, but he had men's clothing, suits and stuff.
Could have been his wife's clothing?
Not in his size.
Okay.
She's a small woman. Yeah.
So did you see Bush there any other time?
I just seen him at a couple other parties, but I never seen him do anything.
So you saw him probably at total of 4 parties?
Yeah.
You saw him involved in the sex act twice?
Yeah.
What happened to this Webb kid from Washington, D.C.?
As far as I know, he's still down in Washington, D.C.
What happened to the other kid? Black
Wally?
kid? Yeah. Or
I don't know,
Joe Webb was the black kid, wasn't he?
No, Wally Webb.
Wally Webb, okay. He used to Omaha.
Yeah.
What happened to him?
I don't know. The only thing I know about him and stuff is what I've been kind of picking up here and there from what's been written about it in the book and stuff, even though his name's being misprinted or even though they use a different name for him, they don't use his name Wally in the book.
What other politicians did you visit? Let's say you went to 2 governors. One was either New York or Massachusetts. And what year was that?
That was in the early 80s. I'm not sure exactly what year.
And where was the other governor?
I couldn't even say for sure. I know it was down around on the East Coast, though. It was down lower toward Washington, D.C. because we were on a trip there and we drove to where it was at. So I'm not sure where it was from.
Who's we?
Larry King. He was the one that always... He accompanied me, or he'd have one of his personal boys. Well, personal men. Because they had Bodies by God, and they had all that kind of stuff down there.
Did you ever see Bush in Omaha?
No, I've never seen him in Omaha. I've never been there. But I knew a guy that gave us a trip to the White House one night, and that was a guy named Jerry Spence.
He gave you a trip to the White House?
Yeah, he took me and a bunch of other boys for a tour through the White House.
And when was that?
Well, it actually happened about 6 or 7 times.
Did somebody have
Through the
sex?
upper rooms where supposedly nobody goes.
Did somebody have sex with you there?
No, but we went and had sex afterwards. I don't know who they were. I mean, they were...
Where did you go for sex afterwards?
To a hotel. It was near the Lincoln Memorial.
Do you know who had sex with you? Spence. Do you know where Spence is from?
No. All I know is he was
Who introduced you to Spence?
Larry King. he got me involved with what they called Bodies by God, and then they also had another group which I was involved with, which was Dream Boys.
Okay.
The group that they ran, and Larry King was part of, with getting boys and young men involved with it.
I'm going to show you some pictures. I'm going to show you 4 pictures. You want to tell me if you've ever seen these men before? You put them up for the camera first. That's one. I'm going to show them to you all at the same time. There's another one. Another one. I'm going to block off the name, by the way, when I show it to you. Here's another one. Okay, let me block off this one name. As a matter of fact, it's autographed. So, let me block it off. You take a look at these, see if you've ever seen these people. I'm going to show it to them like this. Okay, here's 4 pictures. Spread them out right there. There. There and there. Some of you have never seen
This one's a better picture of it. Looks familiar. Again, there's that Clarence Thomas.
Have you ever seen Clarence Thomas?
Just on TV.
Okay, that takes care of that one. What about
That
this?
is Clarence Thomas.
It is Clarence Thomas. Yeah.
Okay.
How about that?
Looks like somebody who's at some party with Larry King. I don't know which one it was. Let's see if you introduced me to him at all. Well, no, he didn't introduce me. There's a name tag on. Focus in. That's one thing I have. I have like a video camera in my head.
Okay, focus in on that.
Bob. What's that there? It's either Bill or Bob.
Remember his last name?
Allen?
Bill or Bob Allen?
Allen.
Where'd you see him?
Try. Well, I see him in several different places. It was all dealing with political stuff with Larry King.
You remember where?
I want to say Dallas, at Fort Worth.
We're at the convention when you went down there?
Yeah. The ranch and
What ranch?
Washington, D.C. The South Fork. One where I guess they filmed, what they say, Dallas or something, some movie.
In Dallas, that's Dallas.
I say Fort Worth.
Dallas TV. The Dallas TV show.
Yeah,
Okay.
I guess.
Did you see him there?
Yeah.
And who was he with?
He was with, well, there were several people. I don't know who he was with, but I know that there was a guy named Bill or Bob Allen or Alex. I'm trying to get the last letter on the name. Alex doesn't sound right for the last name. Allen it is. I say Allen. I gotta say Allen because
You say
Alex is not a last name.
this guy's name is Bill or Bob Allen?
Yeah.
Okay, for the purpose of the camera, I'm going to take the signature. This is an autograph photograph. I'm going to show the camera what his last name. You didn't see this autograph, this signed autograph.
No.
I'll show you what you came up with. That, for the record, that's Bill Allen. He was a Republican candidate for the U.S. Senate, and in the past was a write-in candidate in 1990. Bill Allen. You identified him. Huh? You what?
This guy looks real familiar. Looks like the governor of California.
You ever see the governor of California?
Just on TV, but
You never saw him at any of these parties. Okay.
I think the governor is.
It is the governor.
Boy, you can sure tell I don't try and make up nothing about somebody. If I don't know from any parties, I won't say nothing.
That's right. That's good. Okay, keep going with your list. Now, what I'd like to do is maybe the next day or so we can go to the library and look at all the U.S. congressmen and senators.
Yeah.
They must have a picture of them.
Jerry Studs, and then there's a.
Studs is where?
I don't know where he's from. I think it's Jerry Studs, I'm not sure. There's a lot of Jerry's in there.
Going back to Allen, did he ever perform any sex acts on you?
Allen.
Bill Allen, the congressional senatorial candidate. You just saw him at the parties.
I seen him at parties and stuff, and I know he was around after the parties, so I know he was aware of what was going on with the team and stuff.
And he's a friend of Larry King's. Okay. Okay, keep going with the list. Anything more on Larry King you want to mention?
Well, I have to go on him separately.
Later.
Several people in here and stuff, if I try to go on them, so I can take it.
Okay, well, the ones we need to go on separate, you let me know.
I can know.
Huh?
I mean, I'll put an asterisk on them.
Well, here, I'll make a note of their name here.
Okay. Oh, Citron, Banger, Anderson, and so far. Carlson anymore, he's been through prison.
Anderson, Bear,
Anderson, Bear,
Citron,
King.
Who else?
Well, we'll go through the ones from NAMBLA.
And Nambla. Okay. Okay, keep going, then we'll come back to those.
Okay.
You have to do a little separate chapter on each one of those.
Next one's Hugh Hamill, and he was from, I don't know exactly where he's from, but I know he was from New York, and I met him on Trickland in Times Square. But he was involved with NAMBLA. And I was in about 82. And I was with him about 2 times. And I don't know what he did because I know he'd been in prison, and I know he went back to prison, and I don't know what else happened. That all happened over a kid named Charles Dyson, which I can explain a lot about that.
What's that now?
What? A kid named Charles Dyson, who disappeared out from his home in New Jersey in '82, end of November, first part of December. But he ended up going back. He ended up getting back home and stuff. And I was around him while he was abducted. I was out there for a week with him and stuff. And
When they abducted him?
well, no, not when they abducted him, but it was after he'd already been abducted and stuff, and I didn't know it. But I was at this place where he was at. They arrested a bunch of guys. Supposedly, they knew where he was at, or that they had something to do with it, which they didn't. People that got arrested didn't have anything to do with it. The guy, John David Bomarito, got away. He was the one that actually did it. Police caught him and stuff. He was wanted in another state. They let him go. He was wanted in Texas, I guess, because this is I got a list from David Thorstad on him, and also from himself. from John Barmarito. And he said that he had a deal worked out with the FBI in some town. He was working with them to try and get NAMBLA, some NAMBLA people in trouble and stuff, and try and put a bad name on them and stuff. He's working with some dirty FBI agents, which doesn't surprise me anymore.
What town?
Well, out in on the East Coast, I'm not sure exactly what town. All I know is that the ones he was working with were good enough to get the charges dropped in Texas against him for sexually molesting some boys. He had just gotten out of prison in Buena Vista, Colorado, for the same thing.
Okay, spell his name for us.
Barmarito? B-A-M-M-R... Is it on here? It is. It should be. B-M-A-M-M-A-R-I-T-O.
First name?
Barons. Yeah, he went by several aliases. Barons. And
Barons for last name?
John David or David John Bomarito.
Okay.
I think it was Bomarito.
And you don't know, remember what town, where the FBI agents were, or what they were going to do?
No, all I know is that he got away with basically kidnapping Charles Dyson, and the other guy that was with him got in trouble for it, and that was, I don't know, I think it was Hugh Hamill. Hugh Hamill didn't have anything really to do with it. I got all that written down.
Will this kid come back then?
Charles Dyson, he went back home when I was in 82 and stuff. And I think he got back home either at the end of 82 or the beginning of 83. He went back home. They got him on a bus ticket. And
Was he found by the
back
police,
home.
or did he turn himself in, or what?
well, he came back home on his own. He came back on a bus and stuff, and the police made it look like... I mean, I know the kid and stuff. He, the entire time he was with them and stuff, I don't know if they ever molested him or not when he was with them. I know that he went skiing and stuff because I was with him part of the time, and basically we went out and did, had a lot of fun and stuff. And I don't know if he ever got molested or not. I think he did. I don't think
Was he actually kidnapped, or did he go voluntarily?
He kind of went voluntarily, but he was under the age, so it's considered kidnapping.
And how long was he gone?
About a month, I think.
And Bomarito had him the whole time?
Barmarito and some other guy that was with him. I'm trying to remember what the guy's name was.
And you saw him? You were with him that time?
I was with him for a couple of days when I was out there and stuff.
Where?
Out in Connecticut. It was at the Wareham. They had a Wareham cottage where they were at. Wareham, Massachusetts, I think it was.
There's Wareham, Mass. Yeah.
That's what it was in Wareham, Massachusetts, where they were at. That's where they busted, I believe, either Dave, I think it was Hugh Hamill, and they also arrested Harold Baker, who at the time I think was 17. They charged him with being, they had this big thing and stuff, making him look like he was a sexual pervert, doing stuff with minors and stuff. He was only like 17 years old when this was going on. Police were doing it to him.
Police were doing what to him?
Charging him with kidnapping or something like that, and he didn't have anything to do with it. I mean, they charged these guys with all phony charges.
What
I know
police?
that the Massachusetts police and the New Jersey police. And I know that they were false charges because I was out there, and Hamill and this other guy Baker had nothing to do with this kid's abduction. These guys brought this kid there and stuff, and they didn't even know the kid was abducted for a while. And they found out, they told them they had to go on. They couldn't stay. These guys couldn't stay there. And so it's like they made this kid Baker, who was like 17 years old, look like he was a pedophile or something, because he was messing around kids that were about 16 and stuff, which were basically his own age.
Where are these guys from? These two guys?
Hamilton, they're from the Boston, New York areas. With NAMBLA, Boston and New York City are not separated.
Were these two NAMBLA guys?
Baker was, I know he's been involved full force with it. And Hamill, I don't think he ever really got involved with NAMBLA completely. I know he wrote a lot of letters to him, so I read a couple of them when he was going to jail stuff. NAMBLA did a lot of legal work for him. They had their attorneys working with him, and working for him, trying to get him out.
What was he in jail for? On this charge?
On this charge, which was
Trumped up.
It was trumped up by the police and stuff because they were on a witch hunt and after him, even though he hadn't done anything with that. He'd done stuff with other kids and stuff, but he hadn't done anything with the one they were charging him with. So they were making up for it, I guess. Next guy is a man named Tank. Any gay bar in Omaha, they'd know exactly who he is. Although the Omaha police thought he was a fictitious person, probably made up in our imaginations, and yet he actually exists and fits the description that we described him at.
And Tank is who?
He's a guy that he hangs out in the old market area. He's kind of an old troll. Just hangs out and looks for kids or young guys. And
Is he white or black?
white, kind of big build, kind of like a motorcycle fat guy. Lived up in Harney Street at the time, which was where I lived out when I first met him.
Oh, you, and when did it happen?
Oh, I met him in... First time I met him was in the mid-'70s when I first got involved with Carlson and that, and started going down to the old Diamond Bar, which was not what it's at now in Omaha, because it's about a block away, because it was across the street from the bus station, which now is a parking lot where it used to be at. So we tore the building down, moved into what used to be the Mosey's Inn, which my aunt used to work at. She was a bouncer and a bartender. Used to throw guys out there, and Mosey used to be the he was a chief of police in Omaha, and he's a really nice guy because I met him several times. And after he died, they closed up the bar, and then Diamond Bar took over, which is a gay bar, and they took over or bought it out. He moved in, but that's where I met him at. And I was with him under about 10 times, and he was at parties with, I met him on the run, and then I met him at parties with Baron and stuff. He was partying with them all the time. And the next guy is Fat Freddy, which his real name is Fred Mertzstar. He's, as far as I know, he's still living downtown area and stuff. He's still picking up young boys. He's always had runaways living with him and stuff, and he always takes advantage of them, making them prostitute themselves to other guys, to himself. At the time, he was probably in his 40s. So he's probably well into his 50s now, probably about mid to late 50s. He's a heavy-set guy that always complained that he was going to die of cancer and die of this or die of that, and he never died. Maybe he should have. I met him at the same time I met Tank. So they were kind of running together. They were friends up. He lived up in Jackson Street, about 16th and Jackson. He always lived in the downtown area, around the gay bars and stuff. I met him at the same time we should go out in the mid-'70s. And I also seen him at the room at the party there. And the next guy is David Grote. I was with him 5 to 10 times from 79 to 82. So prison, I think that was. I was out in New York, and I was with Mamble. So he was involved with the same.
You know what he does? If you know what any of these people do for a living, mention that also.
Yeah, I will. He goes to prison.
If he's a president next time.
Well, I think he probably would be now. I think he went to prison in 82 or 83. I'm not sure. All I know is he disappeared for a while. Mamble was complaining about one more members, but not the two.
For child molestation and what?
Yeah.
Well, do these Mammal guys pick on girls too?
Some do, but most of them involved in Mamble are involved with the boys and stuff. At least the ones I know. It's kind of interesting, their bulletin there for sexual freedom for all ages and stuff, but yet in their bulletin is filled with little boys in it.
Yeah.
You know, at least that's what it used to be. I don't know if it is anymore.
Yeah.
Because I haven't seen one for... As Paul, I've never seen one, but going on the memories of that person, I was probably about 3.5, well, maybe more, like 4 years now.
Yeah.
Been hard to get him in prison.
I know what you
They
mean.
won't let him go, I don't think. And again, I don't know how they found me. When I was in prison, they started writing me again.
Mammal did?
They started writing me and sending me letters and stuff, encouraging me. And I'm like going, no, what's your encouragement? You guys are gross.
Well, somebody in the prison tipped him.
Well, no, it's like when I got arrested. That's the weird thing about it. Nobody in prison knew me, but it's like they knew that when I got arrested and stuff. So it's like funny that they're in connection with the people in Omaha, and how would they know I was in prison? It had to have been somebody that they know in Omaha that would have told these people. David Thorstad was sure is dead, but nobody can get anything out of him. I mean,
Why
they
do you
say that
think?
he died of AIDS.
Oh, they did?
That's what Dr. Denson Gerber said, that he died of AIDS.
Yeah.
So if he did, then it's kind of good and bad. It's good that he's dead and he's not abusing more kids, but it's bad because I just think about the kids that he might have infected with it.
Sure he did.
It's just when they're herbal Eddie, I guess. That's a different story. This guy is Jack West. I was with him 10 or 20 times, and he worked at the Max. He was a bartender for a long while. I mean,
What's the max? The bar?
Max Bar, Maxine's. Now, I don't know if it's Maxine's or what, but I call it
What city?
Maxine. Omaha. Across from the Omaha Police Department, in fact. You look out their window and see them. In fact, all the gay bars are right around the police department in Omaha. It's their protection, I guess. But Jack West was a bartender there. He was also close friends with Alan Bear. He supplied boys for parties and stuff because young guys would come in that were underage and stuff, 16, 17 years old. He'd supply them with alcohol and stuff for sexual favors and stuff. He was just involved with Baron King quite heavily. So the next guy was a guy named Tom Harvey. He used to be, I don't know what he did at the bank or at the credit union, but he worked with Larry King. He was at a couple of parties, and I had sexual relations with him twice. He lived with, after he was like probably in his 30s, he lived with his mother.
Was he white or black guy?
White guy. Chunky. He lived with his mommy. Even in his 30s, and I thought that was kind of strange, but so was the guy. The next guy is a guy named Donald Sitzman, and he was a lawyer in the Omaha area. I met him on the run. And I also seen him at some other gatherings, but I'm not sure
What
exactly.
do you mean on the run?
The run in Omaha, it's
Oh, that's the name of the place?
well, the run is, it's the name of a gay bar, but it's also an area that runs from 16th or down Leavenworth, across 16th Street, from about 16th to 18th and Leavenworth, over to Jackson Street, and it goes up and goes right around the Omaha Correctional Center, and it's where it's kind of like Santa Monica Boulevard out in Beverly Hills. It's kind of that type of an area. It's where all the gay prostitutes hang out at. Like in Omaha, they got 17th and Farms, where all the female prostitutes hang out. The gays just got a whole block. They don't just take one little corner. They take a whole block right around the correctional center. And I guess it's just closer when they get arrested for something. That's where to go. They hang out there and used to make jokes about it. After you escape from this place, just make sure it's a Friday or Saturday night and just take off your jumpsuit and run down the street with your underwear. Some guy will pick you up in 5 seconds. If you're a woman, you're going to have a little bit of trouble getting picked up. But now, Sitzman, he picked me up. I was with him one time. The only reason I remember his name and stuff is because I stole his wallet.
Sitzman?
Sitzman.
Sitzman.
I stole his wallet. And I seen him on TV one time. He was talking, and this was like back in early part of the 80s and stuff. And I've seen that guy. He says, I know, and I thought, the person I was out with thought, I know where I've seen this guy too. And I don't want to tell anybody I know this guy, but
What is Sitzman?
he was a lawyer. He was.
Well, he was whose lawyer?
I don't think he was anybody's lawyer, but I know he was a big shot lawyer and stuff. He was working out of UNO or something like that. He was an legal advisor or something. He worked with, on some cases he worked, kind of funny, he worked on sexual abuse cases and stuff, prosecuting and stuff with the state for certain cases that were involved with, I think it was Sitzman or something like that. That was involved with some cases involving some people that might have had information with the Franklin case, which the guy who didn't have any information about Franklin because he was an idiot who was getting all his information from everybody else.
Did you put some names on the bottom there that you missed?
Down here? Yeah, but it was just a last name, and his name was, come on, no. So I went with, I got a better copy somewhere. In this file. There's the one that you got in this file.
Yeah, that's a photocopy, so you need the original.
Yeah, well, I had another photocopy of this same page that got a little bit more of the page on it. Okay, so it's in the, it wouldn't be in the victim info. It wouldn't be in the cult info.
Let me turn off the camera.
No, I got it. No. Kids' file is nothing else. The blank file. Ah!
You got it?
Yeah, it was sitting right on the top. No wonder I took a photo of it. Just underneath a couple other pictures. No, that's not a good one. Murray. It wasn't on there, but I just remembered what it was.
Okay.
Center, because they were all like this one. Murray. He was a guy who hung around with Tom Harvey and King and stuff, and went out to lunch a couple times and stuff, and they got him drunk one time and ended up in bed with him. I don't think he was into that kind of stuff, because when he woke up he was kind of like going, where am I? He didn't remember anything.
What did he do? Murray.
He worked at the bank apparently, with King and no. And that was in '83 in Omaha. I didn't bother telling him what he did because he couldn't remember. Figured, why should I tell him?
He was just drunk.
I don't think he,
You don't think he was one of them?
no, because he was upset at himself. And nothing ever happened since then, and I didn't see him around the bank for very much longer after that either. So
He quit?
I don't know. He just never came around.
Well, did you hang around the bank? You told him the savings and loan there?
The credit union?
Yeah.
Well, I didn't really hang around there, but I was there several times. I met several people and stuff. I went in there one time with a fake mustache on. Nobody recognized me, and I had sunglasses and a fake mustache. I was all 5 feet tall. I thought for sure they'd recognize me because I'd been there enough. Next two guys I had to put together because they were always together at the same time. And I believe they were probably brothers. Well, actually, they were brothers. They were twins. So I hope they were brothers. Tim and Mark Daniels. They were from Sioux City, Iowa, and they were involved with Larry King. They were in their early 20s, and they were victims themselves. They were part of a group up there that was running with a bunch of teenage prostitutes at the time and stuff. And it's like a couple years ago, I guess, a bunch of teenagers in Sioux City, Iowa got busted for prostitution. The cops came out and said that the kids were running it themselves, which they weren't. But, of course, that's the cover-up for Larry King, because he was the one running them.
You talking about female prostitutes or male prostitutes?
Male prostitutes and female prostitutes. But they said that the kids themselves were running the show, because one of the kids had files in his house or something. I don't know what the reason was, but I know the kid that had the file. You know, I knew one of the kids kept files and everything. So that's probably why they said that the kids ran it themselves, even though Larry King was the one that ran it. Him and one of his black buddies that was up there. And in fact, one of the other girls who right now is indisposed until probably June for anybody trying to talk to her because she's on parole and she doesn't want to.
Yeah, I don't blame her.
She
She doesn't trust him, does she?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I told her she was going to talk to Roy before she got out on parole. And I said, well, I told my brother, I said, when you talk to her, because my brother's going with her for a while, and I said, when you talk to her, tell her don't talk to Roy until she gets out of there. I says, because that'll be a sure way to get her parole tonight. They'll make her jam it just like they did me. So I says, don't, I says, not to put Roy down.
She one of these girls?
She was one of the girls that went up there all the time and stuff and was involved with going to the parties and in Sioux City. And
Were the parties between Omaha and Sioux City?
they had a lot of parties between Omaha and Sioux City. It's like we flew out of Sioux City to Washington, D.C. quite often with Larry King. And yeah, there was a lot of parties.
Did you have any parties down here in Lincoln?
A couple that were usually at the Hilton, which is
Telephone? Just turn the phone.
Wow. Sounded like Jackie.
It's on. Okay, next. We're back. After
we were
the
talking about anything in Lincoln went on. I just started talking about the Lincoln Hilton with Ellen Brown and stuff. So,
oh yeah, right. I asked you if anything in Lincoln.
so some things did happen in Lincoln, but not on a regular basis, and it wasn't very often.
Where did it take place?
Usually at the Lincoln Hilton.
And who would be involved?
Usually the stuff with Alan Barron, he'd pick up young guys from what was called the Boardwalk at the time with after hours and stuff.
Is that here in Lincoln?
And it was here in Lincoln. I don't know if it's still was a gay bar and stuff, and there were like kids that would go in there like 14 and stuff, and they'd never even card them because they
Never even what?
card them.
Oh.
I mean, because they had a thing where if you drank, you had to have a stamp on your hand. If you didn't drink, then
They wouldn't even bother to card them?
well, if you had a stamp on your hand, it meant that you were old enough to drink. If you didn't have the stamp, then they wouldn't give you a drink.
Yeah.
They'd give you a drink whether or not. Or not.
And who else was with Alan Bear? Well,
Usually when Alan Bear came down here, it was usually with himself or young guys. So it's usually on his own.
okay.
There's other guys that were from Lincoln that I don't know who they were, but the next guy is also from Sioux City, Iowa, and I was with him 3 times. I was with both Tim and Mark Daniels, who we were talking about twice. And that was in 1982. And Jeremy.
How many, what's his occupation, age, and all that?
Jeremy?
Yeah, the next guy from Sioux City.
He was in probably his late 20s. He was a teacher in Sioux City, Iowa. And he was involved with Larry King in 1984 and was with him 3 times. And I was doing with the parties and stuff like that in Sioux City. Next guy I was with 5 or 10 times. He was a guy named Charles Rogers, who found out supposedly committed suicide or something. Sent him to cancer work and stuff.
What about his age and occupation or?
20s. I don't know what he did. All I know is that he was one of King's lovers.
Black, white.
I think it was black.
So he was in Omaha.
Yeah. He was in his 20s. So that's maybe 285. Next guy I was with 3 times. All I know is his first name was Mike, and he was a lifeguard, and he was from Sioux City, Iowa. And that was in 84 at the same parties I met the teacher. And they seemed to know each other quite well.
Who took you to Sioux City?
Larry King. His trips with him.
Driving?
Yeah. Next guy is Keith Jacobson. He was from somewhere out in somewhere in Nebraska. I know he was kind of like lived on a farm in a small town and stuff. And recently they had him in the paper and stuff. He got arrested for supposedly buying some child pornography, and they came up and said that he was framed and stuff, and he got all of his charges dropped and stuff, and I know the guy was a pedophile and like little kids and stuff, and he just said, well, I didn't even look at it, I didn't even have a chance to know what it was even about and stuff, yet he filled out a survey saying that he was interested in young adolescents having, involved in sexual activity and stuff. And
Where did you fill his survey out?
it was a post office sting. It was a sting operation by the government.
Oh, I see. And then he got the material and they arrested him. They dropped the charges?
Yeah, dropping the charges because they said it was a setup. He was set up, and the government was creating crime and by having this thing where you could buy the stuff from them, and then they get you in the gun.
Why would they bother doing it and then drop the charges?
Well, no, they didn't bother doing all of it. They tried to charge him stuff, but he had some big shot lawyers and stuff, partially involved with NAMBLA, partially involved with the gay movement all across the country and stuff, because he admitted he was gay. And
Where'd that take place?
right here in Nebraska.
Lincoln or Omaha?
More toward the Lincoln area, I think, than Omaha. It was some smaller town. I'm not sure exactly where it was at, though. It was in us. Jacobson, he was...
How old was he?
Probably in his 30s at the time. Close to not bad or so.
Did you tell me his occupation?
I'm not sure what his occupation was. I know he lived on a farm or something. So maybe he's a farmer. I don't know. That's from 84 to 86. The next guy was a guy named Harold Johnson. He was pretty involved in it.
That the camera on you? Did you check it?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Harold Johnson.
he was involved with a lot of different people. I was with him for about 3 or 4 times. And he was involved with Bear, which Keith Jacobson knew Bear too, and they ran around together and stuff. Bear supplied with some boys, and vice versa. He supplied with some boys from a smaller town from where he was at.
Occupation?
And,
Age?
probably 40s, 50s. Now he probably about 60s now. Next guy, all I know is that his name was Pearson, and he was at the Dallas convention with Larry King.
Pierce?
Yeah. I don't remember anything else about him. All I know is that we did something one time. Also, there was a guy named Johnson there that they were both involved with the GOP garbage. That's what it is for the Republican Party, GOP. I don't know what GOP stands for.
Yeah. I don't know. Republican. They were both involved with the...
They were both at the Dallas convention at the...
Yeah. How many times did they molest you?
Once.
Once each?
Yeah. They were in the same room at the same time. There's a couple of kids there. There's stuff. Next one is Barney Franks. I mentioned earlier.
I remember the name, yeah.
Senator or congressman, I'm not sure exactly what he was. All I know is he's a politician from Boston. West Issues. He was involved with Kingham with NAMBLA. I met him in Washington, D.C. several times. I met him in Boston several times at different locations. So it was kind of in several different places.
Total?
About 15 times. 10, 15.
How old is he?
He's probably in his 50s then. So he's probably in the 60s, I don't know.
And do you remember if he was a congressman or a senator?
I think he was a congressman. I'm not sure if he was a congressman or if he was a senator. So I've been trying to figure out. Yeah. But he was mainly involved with Larry King. And that's who I met him through, even though they had disagreements on politics. And the reason was that Barney Franks was a Democrat and Larry King was a Republican. I was going to say homosexual, but they both were. And that's the only common thing they had about him, I think.
Was he black or white?
White. Older guy, kind got your by your bill or something. So.
He was that well built? Don't laugh.
He's a little bit bigger, huskier size than, not a guy of my size, which I don't know too many congressmen or senators that are my size. I don't know too many people who are. Next guy is a guy named Bob Gage. And he was from Los Angeles, and that was with not Larry King, but Alan Bear.
How many times?
With him, one time, but he was one of the main contacts for the drugs.
In Los Angeles?
Yeah.
Did this sexual act take place in Los Angeles?
Mm-hmm.
What was the occasion for you being in L.A. at that time?
Huh?
Why were you in L.A. at the time?
I was there with Case, and we were there to mainly, in '85, I was just picking up packages and bringing them back to Omaha, and I found out what the packages were, and I kind of didn't want to pick them up anymore.
You were with Case?
Again, well, I call him Chase. I said Case, but I missed the letter.
C-H-A-S-E?
Yeah.
And who is he?
He was a guy that I used to go around on scavenger hunts for Larry King, or not Larry King, but Alan Bear. I keep getting those two mixed up because they're almost tied in with everything, together with everything, so I get them tied up all the time. And Chase was from Omaha, but he was always one that was sent with me to go and pick up and go and get other kids from other cities.
So how was this guy involved in the drug operation out there, Gage?
Gage,
You know his
I'm not
full
sure
name?
if he was a customs agent or what, but I know that he was close friend. I know that every time I went there and stuff, he was always involved in the airport. So sometimes he had a uniform on, which was a security, like a customs kind lawyers and stuff. It was at the international airport in L.A.
I live about 5 miles from there.
So,
Well,
yes.
tell me about it. How would you pick up the drugs and all that? And how was he involved in the drugs?
How was he? I don't know how he was involved, but I know that he knew that they were the drugs because a lot of times when he'd bring the stuff to the hotel and stuff, he'd be talking to Chase and they'd open it up and Chase would check and make sure that everything was there. Sometimes they'd take stuff out and they'd weigh it. And
Would he bring the stuff to the hotel room? How did you know they were drugs?
I know what cocaine looks like.
Okay. Did you taste it or anything?
No, I was in the bathroom usually, kind of usually peeking around. And
Did somebody say that that's what it was?
well, when they're talking about it, you can kind of get the picture of what it is when they're talking about cocaine, because they're talking about, it's the best nose candy you can get.
Best
nose
what?
Candy, no, best nose candy you can buy. That's cocaine. Well, I don't know. I never snorted cocaine. I never did cocaine. I never wanted to.
Well, did this guy come to the hotel in his uniform?
He came to the hotel. No, I never came to the hotel in his uniform. We picked up stuff from the airport. We go to the airport. We get off our plane. We would be going in this thing, and they had this. It's kind of. You probably know what it's like going through customs.
Yeah.
And they have a room or something.
Yeah.
He'd come out of the room with a bag.
You get off a domestic flight.
Yeah, we get off a domestic flight.
Where would you meet him there?
We would have to go through. We go through the airport. We go to where they have the customs offices at and stuff. We have to go all over the place to get there inside the airport because they got it off in one place. But we'd go there. He'd go in this room. He'd come back out and give us a package and say that everything was checked out okay.
Now he had a uniform on there.
Yeah, had a uniform on stuff.
Okay.
So he'd just, he'd give us the bag, and we'd usually just walk away. Or sometimes we did this several times, stuff where we actually flew in, got on a flight that came in from another country, which wasn't hard because they fly us to California and then we take a plane to somewhere else.
Wait a minute. You get on a flight that would take you out of the country?
Yeah.
Did you have a passport or a visa or anything?
Well, you can get fake passports.
I know, but did you have them?
Yeah, we had fake passports all the time.
Well, did Gage put you on
When we
these?
went there, when we got there and stuff, we always had the fake passports with us because Alan Bear had them already set up and stuff. I had 4 or 5 passports under 4 or 5 different names.
And who gave you those passports?
Alan Bear did. He's the one that got them all for us when we went to California with him several times. He had some of his friends that worked in that department make up all these passports and stuff so we could just...
What department?
In, what is it, I don't know what department it is. There's an office
You
building.
applied for your passports at the post office.
Yeah.
Is that where you got them?
Well, in California, yeah.
Huh?
In California, yeah. We had to go in there, we had to go through this stuff, but it wasn't that hard because we just went in, they took our picture, and the guy who made out the passports gave it Alan Bear and says, well, they've got 5 new identities.
Wait a minute, where would you go? In California or here?
In California.
And there was an office out there where you'd walk in? Was there an
office
official
at Alan
government?
Bear? I don't know. I don't know what it was. All I know is we went in, that guy took our pictures. I don't remember what the building was, what they were doing in there. I don't think it was a post office because it didn't look like one.
What an official government building.
No, but the guy had all the right equipment to make out real fake passports.
Well, was there any money exchanged?
I believe so, but I never seen it. I mean, I'm sure there was.
So he'd have 5 passports for each one of you then?
Yeah, well, he had a bunch of passports, and there was like 5 of us kids, and he took us, and we go there and stuff, and it's like, I remember some of the passports, names and stuff, and it's like, probably wouldn't do no good because they probably wouldn't be on record anymore. I mean, if this guy made them up, they
You remember some of the names?
Michael Kelly.
Were you?
Yeah. John Ryan. Theodore Bayer. Actually, give me one of Alan Bear's last names. Can't remember the other ones, but I never used them. The main one I used was Theodore Bayer.
Okay, so you'd go to L.A., you'd go over to customs with your fake passport.
You get on a plane to Hawaii, and then from Hawaii you go to the Philippines.
Okay.
And
What's the purpose of this trip?
To pick up drugs. Although we didn't know, we get to wherever we were going, they'd give us packages, we'd bring them back, and when we got here, it always seemed to, our packages never seemed to go at the rest of the people that were coming in for the international. Like our packages never went the right way. Our packages always went in another direction. Because the
And who was there?
customs agent was always there.
Was the customs agent always there?
There was custom agents who would always be there and stuff. And it wasn't always Bob Gage. Sometimes another customs agent, he'd sit there and we'd get off the plane and he'd say, we've been waiting for you. We'd get your packages already.
The other agent would say that.
The other agents would say that. Some of the other ones.
Yeah.
And just one, there was a couple other ones that did too. Every time we went in there, they were.
How many customs agents were involved in L.A.?
Maybe just 2 or 3, but they were ones that always came up and had our packages for us. I mean, I thought it was kind of strange when they did the packaging and stuff that ours seemed to go off a different direction.
Did you suspect they were drugs?
I didn't suspect they were drugs until I started seeing it in '85 when I started looking out the door and seeing them talk about the nose candy. And I actually
Out the door of the bathroom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
'84, I suspected what it was, but I didn't want to get too nosy because I had, it's like Chase told me, because I asked him one time, I said, what's in the package? He says, don't get nosy. He says, you'll disappear if you do. So I never bothered.
Why did they bring you along? You were just a witness.
With the drugs?
Yeah.
Well, the reason they brought me along and stuff was because I was a kid. Kids are easier to get stuff past than adults, and it's like, because in '85 I looked like I was probably about 12 years old, I could act like a brat and I could really drive custom agents crazy and they just let you get out of there. It's like,
Is that what you did?
I gotta go to the bathroom. I gotta go really bad. Where's the bathroom at? It's like the custom agent. A lot of times if there was a legitimate one there and stuff, the other one would just take the bag if there was one there. And he'd I'd drive the person crazy, or the other kids that were with us would drive the person so batty that the one agent that was probably on the up, that was right, was honest and stuff, would get so frustrated that he'd probably overlook something by the fact that the other agent would probably grab the bag or push it past, or you could push it past or something, or sometimes they just get you out of there. But you got a bratty kid and stuff, it's like you kind of draw attention away from trying what it was as a diversion. kind of doing that, or it's like we had one kid that was, he'd pee his pants on call. And,
You give him a word and you pee him, huh?
well, no, it's just like when we were going through the customs, I always wondered why this kid always seemed to go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
You know, if you're standing there, I gotta go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. I already went, and it's like the custom agent was standing right next to him. So and it's like the guy was like, oh, no. It's like, well, we gotta get you guys out of here real quick, you know.
Yeah.
So they never suspected it. I don't think.
Who all would be there? How many adults?
Usually just a couple. Sometimes they pose as your parents. Sometimes they pose as...
Here, any women, older women, pose as a mother and father?
Yeah.
Who were these people? You never saw them again after that?
I seen them when we went on the trips. And they, it's like, like one lady I met, her name was Thelma, her name was Teresa, her name was Jackie, her name was,
Different names, different trips.
yeah, different names for every trip. And so I never bothered asking what her real name was.
Who was she with? Who was an adult?
The guy? I don't even know. Sometimes different. It's usually the same guy, though. It's sometimes different, but usually it was the same guy.
Can you draw an artist's conception of those two people?
I have drawn an artist. I got that one picture of her that I showed. Yeah, somewhere in here. I don't know exactly where it's not. Like, I know where it's not at. It's not right where I can find it. Actually, it is right here.
What's the artist's conception?
She's also the one that was with Linda. She looks like Linda Benz, which is there's two people that look exactly like her.
We're going to probably get a better picture of this. Want to try to zero in on that?
Yeah.
She's young, isn't she? How old is she?
Probably in her mid-20s.
You don't know where she's from or anything?
Mm-mm.
Would she bring the drugs all the way back to Omaha?
No, they stopped in L.A.
And who'd bring the drugs from L.A. to Omaha?
We would.
The kids would, huh?
Chase and me and...
So she would just travel overseas with you?
Yeah, I knew her as Linda or Lisa, but she was with this guy in Colorado, which was supposedly her husband, I think.
You got an artist's conception of the guy?
Not presently with me. Okay.
Did you get it?
Yeah. I get it.
She's pretty. You ready?
Yeah, I'm trying to get it focused back on the chair.
Let's set that aside. I want to make sure I have a photocopy of that. The things that we want to photocopy, we'll set aside over here. Okay. How many countries did you go to?
The Philippines, I went to Mexico, Canada, England, Germany, the Netherlands, lots of times. Amsterdam.
You're talking about a lot of heavy-duty runs, aren't you?
Yeah, the Netherlands weren't for drugs, and that was for pornography and solar pornography. In fact, bringing back probably about a ton of it, maybe more than that even. A couple of crates full of
Did
child
you take
pornography.
porno over?
No. Came back with it, but never took it over.
And did you ever see the pornography?
Yeah.
Where would you, who would tell you to go over there and do that?
I was sent over there by people from NAMBLA. I was sent over there by different groups that were wanting kiddie porn. And we'd go over there and stuff, and a lot of times we'd bring it back in our suitcases and stuff. And magazines don't pick up on their metal detectors. Magazines had nothing picked up, so they never checked our bags. Kids, they never really checked our bag stuff, and then the luggage that went in the compartments, they never checked.
Well, you said you brought back a carton or container?
Well, they brought back, one time, or actually about 2 times we went, they had these crates, big wooden crates and stuff, and the person we were with was supposed to be bringing back there were supposed to be regular magazines and stuff, which if anybody would open the crate, the first 5 magazines in each stack were just on the top and on the bottom. And there was like 50 to 100 magazines. I think it was like 100 magazines each box. But the first 5 on each side, in each box that was inside this crate, were actually just regular magazines from one different thing. So it's like if anybody would have checked the crates, they would have seen normal magazines. Underneath them, they had 30 or 40 different names on the magazines with nothing but kiddie porn in it. And I remember having to go through that stuff with NAMBLA and putting them in envelopes. And then we didn't mail them from the NAMBLA office because their mail was really checked a lot. We took the mail, in fact, I brought most of it back here, mailed it right out of Nebraska. They'd give me the postage for it, they had the postage thing on it, and it'd be mailed right out of Nebraska from different locations and stuff, so they wouldn't, post office wouldn't get suspicious or anything out of it. And it's like you're mailing out several, probably close to 50, 60,000 copies of magazines to different guys.
How many trips did you make to the Netherlands for the porno? Yes.
10, 12.
And each time you brought back how much?
Each time I brought back, the least I ever brought back was 3 suitcases.
Were they magazines or were they pictures or what?
They were magazines, and then there was also the main thing that we brought back was there was a movie reels and stuff that come in the reels and stuff that you can't open because if you open them, expose them to light, it ruins them. Well, it was like film on them, and they were just like each one was like a slot, was like a film piece of magazines, so that they could take them over here and print the magazines over here with them. Instead of bringing back the magazines, they started doing it that way there at the last because it was harder to catch by the authorities because they won't expose the film to light. They can't, won't ruin it, and they can tell what it is by looking at the real stuff, but they never know what it is because you don't fly from the Netherlands to the United States. You always fly into England. You never take a plane. You never get a flight that says that you came from the Netherlands when you're going back to the United States stuff with this stuff because they know that the Netherlands has a lot of child pornography stuff going on over there. So you just stay in England overnight. You get another plane another plane ticket, and you come in just straight from England. So nobody ever knows you went to the Netherlands when you come over from the customs. It ain't on the flight records or none of that stuff. They don't have it. But
your passport would have the stamp Netherlands on it, though.
But you use a different passport.
Then you pull another passport.
That's why they gave us all the passports, and they kept giving us new ones every time we went somewhere.
So when you'd go overseas, you'd have like 5 passports for each trip?
You'd have several different passports. Sometimes you had to remember which ones you used in case you're in some of the same customs agents. That can come to be a problem. But, it's like when we were going into California, so it was never a problem because they see so many people that, if you're going there every couple of months, they'll never realize it. But when you're going to another country and you're going to be going through the same customs maybe twice in 2 days, 2 or 3 times in a couple of days, you take a couple use the same passport, but you have a couple of them on the same one. So I never.
Did anybody in Omaha ever ask you to go to the Netherlands to pick up the porno material?
I picked up porno material for Walter Carlson over there, some of his group of stuff, and actually I picked up some. He didn't send no money because he traded them. He sent them some, they sent him some.
But he sent them some porno pictures?
Yeah.
What were the pictures of?
Myself, a couple of dozen other kids, a couple hundred other kids. And when they arrested them, they only got like 10,000 photographs.
When they arrested who?
Walter Carlson and Joe Burke and that whole group, they got like 10,000 photographs.
Oh, kids from probably overseas, right?
Well, that's just the kids that were from here.
Oh, from here?
The film that he got from overseas and stuff, he never kept at his place, and he never kept it at any of the other guys' places. He had another place they kept it at, and I know it's not there any longer, because I'm sure they've gone and went and got it. In fact, I know they have because I tried to go and find that after I talked to the police in '86 and stuff. Because I went and tried to find it, and it all disappeared. I mean, the whole.
You told the police where it was, and then it disappeared, huh?
Well, yeah.
Well, do you figure that the pictures that were taken here in Omaha ended up in the Netherlands and vice versa?
Yeah, they probably use them over there. And
Can you, if I went to the Netherlands with you now, could you tell me where you delivered it?
I don't know. It depends on if they change the country.
Well, would you be able to go over there and find some pictures of the kids?
Would I be able to find them? Yeah. You can probably go to the store and buy some of them.
Pictures of you
I don't know.
and some of the other kids.
That one might take a little more doing, but I'm sure I could probably.
So if we put you on a plane and sent you over there with, say, somebody like me, we could probably find some pictures of American kids over there. Of course, I'd look too much like a cop. I couldn't do it. But I got some people that could do that.
Yeah.
So I think when we get some money down the road, we ought to consider that.
Yeah.
Don't you think maybe your pictures and the pictures of these local kids are probably already gone by now? Or
Those type of pictures will circulate forever, because even though one pedophile might have seen it a million times, stuff, another one might think it's a new picture. I mean, when you're not wearing anything, they can't tell what the styles were, what you were wearing at the time. I mean,
well, are these pictures of babies too? Little 2, 3-year-old babies?
no, all these pictures were like. I mean, I'm sure they have them. But I never was involved with any guys that were like that. Most of the guys I was with, like kids that were like about older than 6, but under 16. And they went from 6 about that 10 years.
Were any of your guys involved in kids in under 6? 2, 3, 4-year-old kids, like preschool kids?
Some sickos from California were, and some up in Minnesota were. Those were usually ones that were involved in generational Satanism and stuff that I remember being involved with that stuff.
Okay, and we're in California.
Bakersfield.
Could you identify those people now?
Pretty much so.
And we're in Minnesota.
Let's see, was it Jordan? Yeah, Jordan, Minnesota.
Where they had the trials.
Yeah, well, I don't know anything about the trials, but I know that I've been told about everything. That everything I've said is checked out, and people have told me just a very little bit about things I've said about being right, and I'm like going, well.
Things you said about what?
About what some people in Minnesota and some people in California.
About the 2, 3, or 4-year-old kids.
Yeah, like in Minnesota. I
Huh?
knew some of the kids that were up there with the Bences.
I didn't understand that.
Oh, Bob and Linda Benz.
Oh, were
They
they?
were involved with the Minnesota Jordan. They abused their kids and stuff, and they got their charges dropped and stuff. And,
You know the names of other individuals in Jordan, Minnesota?
James Rudd, he had a 17-year-old brother. They charged his 17-year-old brother. I remember this because we went up there and stuff. And the thing I got mad about was the fact they charged his 17-year-old brother and his parents and stuff with sexual abuse of children and stuff. And it's like a 17-year-old brother. I thought that was kind of wrong to charge a kid that was like that. He was abused all the time too. He was one of the victims himself.
That's one of the
And then
problems.
they end up dropping the charges against everybody
How about
except for
Bakersfield?
James Rudd.
You know any more people in Jordan, Minnesota?
Know some more, but I'd have to
Think about it.
think about it.
How about Bakersfield? Do you know any of the names out there?
Oh. Yeah, I'm trying to think what they were. I haven't thought about them for a long time. There was a lot of Satanism going on out there. 'Cause the people that were involved with the anti-LaVey's group.
In Bakersfield.
They were with LaVey's group and Church of California. And
Did you ever get into any of that 2, 3, 4-year-old sexual abuse down in the LA area? Things make me funny noise.
yeah, there's,
What Well, you stop and start again. It's not making the noise anymore.
Okay.
Okay, we turned the camera on and off because it was making a funny noise, and we're back on. We were just gone for a minute or so. Okay. Any of them down in the LA area? It's people that were involved in these 2, 3, 4-year-old kids.
I'm not sure.
You don't remember, or you don't think so?
I'm not sure. I'm just not. I don't remember.
You don't remember. Okay. Let's see, anything more on the drug runs and the porno runs? How many drug runs did you make?
I don't know. Sometimes I don't know.
How many?
Because
Huh?
I didn't even guess, because it's like I didn't just do drug runs from there. I did drug runs from other places, I'm sure, because we picked up stuff, but...
Okay, from what period to what period? Just guess.
From 82 till 86, probably 100, maybe more.
All over the world, huh?
Usually it's from Philippines or from Mexico or from California.
Did you-
Mexico is usually what we were from.
Where'd you go in Mexico?
I don't remember, but it was the easiest place to get stuff fast.
Where did you go in the Philippines? What town?
Usually it was just to, I don't even know, all I know is the airport we flew into. I was in town that their an airport's in, which is,
You don't remember what town?
Mexico. Mexico, I'm sure. We went to Mexico City. I remember that. Plus, we went to several other places. And in one place we went through the border when he was with Emilio was always in Nogales because he was friends with the customs agents that were there. So we had family that lived all over there. So we had family on both sides of the border, as far as I know, and we got in Nogales. And so...
That'd be out of Texas, wouldn't it?
Nogales?
Huh?
No, that's out of Arizona.
Was that Arizona? Tucson? Tucson area? Tucson's right near the border.
Yeah, it's close to that. Nogales, Arizona.
Okay. Okay, anything more about the drug runs and the porno runs?
Not much need to know.
Okay.
Just go back to stuff specifically on certain things. We don't forget about everything else.
No, what do you mean?
The rest of the list.
No, that's what I'm saying. Let's go back to the list.
Yeah, okay. The next guy on is John Phillips, who I lived 2 times, May 77. He was from, I believe, Des Moines, but then I met him on the run in Omaha, so he may be lying about being from Des Moines, I don't know.
Yeah.
Not too many people told me exactly where they're from. The thing about him is there's a guy that just got killed in a car crash not too long ago named John Phillips. He had been about the right age, but I've never seen a picture of this guy, John Phillips, who was killed in a car crash. He was from Bellevue, or Sarpy County, I believe, is where he's from.
Where was he killed in a car crash?
Up in Omaha area.
How do you know about it?
It was on the news. When I heard it on the news and stuff, the only reason I remembered it was because of the guy's name. And I remember when I heard it, I was like, the name sounded familiar. And I remembered immediately where it was from, but I was wondering if it was the same person or not, so it might just be a coincidence.
Where did that activity take place, in Omaha?
Yeah, on the run. I got picked up. That was mainly on the run, but he was the guy that introduced me to Alan Bear in 1977. Or not, 77, yeah. 77, I was at some party stuff before I ever met Bear and did anything with him. It was like 70, I think it was 78 when I went to the party at the, this was at the, above the jail, right next to Sons, because there's a penthouse above it. Well, there used to be, I don't know if there still is now, but I can remember that penthouse perfectly. And I remember it had glass doors all around, it had a zebra skin rug, it had a white piano, it had an ivory tusk on the piano, it had a fake fire, not a fake, it had a fireplace in it. The bathroom was the only thing that really stood out to me because it was odd. It had little cowboy scenes on the wall. I mean, the whole apartment was fixed up really nice. With $1 million furniture, it looked like. You know, the bathroom, there's little cowboys in the wall. And it kind of
Didn't mix?
didn't match for me. I mean, I looked at it, it's kind of like, who did the decorating in this place?
Well, why were the little cowboy? What were they doing?
I don't know. I remember, I can remember the bathroom. Because I kept going back to it, I kept thinking that was a messed up memory. I thought it was, this can't possibly be a correct memory. And then I remember going out the one room, into the bathroom, and it's like I could never get it fixed, but it's like I just see little cowboy scenes on the wall. So I just said that was, and somebody else that I know confirmed that that's what it had in the bathroom. They had been there too, and had seen the cowboy scenes on the wall, and wallpaper in the bathroom. So it stood out just like Colonel Aquino's bathtub stands out because he has the tiger claws on it. Talk about that later.
Yeah, we will. We'll go around there.
We haven't gotten into
Huh?
that guy. We haven't gotten into that stuff yet.
You know, we got a long ways to go.
Next guy on the list is Mark Kilman. I was with him 3 times. He was from Lincoln.
Of the what time?
1978.
What'd you say? Mark Kilman from where?
Mark Kilman from Lincoln.
Oh, yeah, that just is something with the Century Times. I
I was with
misunderstood.
him 3 times.
Oh, with him 3 times, okay.
May have come out at the Century Times. So
Okay.
I say 3
Okay.
times.
Okay.
Get tired, I start slurring. And I met him on the run in Omaha. And I know he was from Lincoln because he came down here several times and went to his house. And he was in his early 20s. Lived with his mommy and daddy. And went to school at UNL. He was a pretty smart guy. The next guy
What
is
year was that?
1978. He was 11 years old. Next guy is a guy named Bob Bentor. He was also from Lincoln and good friends with Mark Tillman, and he also went to UNL.
Year?
78.
How many
3
times?
times.
3?
3 times. Whenever Mark or Bob picked me up, they were usually together or something. So
Where did this activity take place?
in Omaha,
Oh,
they picked me up off the run, and we came down to Lincoln, so some of it took place here in Lincoln too. So
were in their homes or hotel or what?
usually it was at Bob's house because he had an apartment. Mark lived with his mom and dad. Actually, his mom because his dad was dead.
Yeah.
And I know he knew Arlen Bear because we talked about it, so he told me to stay away from the guy. So the guy was deaf.
He said stay away from Alan Bear, huh?
He's also said, he was in his, I don't know if he's in his 20s or his late teens. I mean, he was not an abusive guy. Neither one of them, Mark or Bob, neither one were abusive guys. They were, generally, for people who abused me, they were the nicer ones. And I don't know if it was really abuse because I was on the run and I was there for a reason.
When you say on the run, that's where
That's where the male prostitutes hang out.
that's where they hang out, like Santa Monica
Teenage
Boulevard in L.A.,
prostitute, yeah.
right? Okay.
Next guy on the list, I knew him as Steve from St. Paul, Minnesota. And I was with him one time. And, I really put him on the list because besides being on the run one time, they just put down everybody that abused you. And time I just started putting down if I remember the name or not. This guy's a guy named Dave Kruger.
So Steve was in Omaha then?
Yeah, he made a trip to Omaha for some reason. He was from St. Paul. I remember that because I looked at his license. That's also how I knew his name was Steve, but I didn't bother looking at the last name. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I was with Dave Kruger one time in 1978. He was from Des Moines. I met him on the run. So,
How many times?
I don't know. I can see it. I said he's from Des Moines, too, but no, I was with a lot of people from Des Moines also. But not on the run. Next guy I was with 3 times. His name was Fowler. I'm trying to remember his first name for a long time. Met him in 1979. I also seen him at parties with Alan Bear, and I met him he was from Omaha. I also met him on the run. First picked me up on the run and went to Alan Bear's parties because he didn't know I even knew Bear. after we met each other at the party, but actually not happened at parties. This guy was with one time that I can remember. The reason I say that is I got around this guy and he drugged me a lot. So I don't know if it was more than once, but his name was Joe Ramos. He was a teacher from Chicago. And I met him on the run, but I also met him in Chicago. He ran a group of kids and stuff for another guy who got busted, who had a pink file, had a big file with all these guys' names and stuff. Minus, of course, well actually I don't know if it was minus their names or not, but nobody's ever came out with the fact that Alan Zbera's name was in it, Harold Anderson's name was in it. In fact,
Where did this file come from?
it was a file that this guy had kept. They got arrested, not Joe Ramos, because he's never been arrested. He was a teacher. That's how he got most kids for his business, because they prostituted kids out. And he was the one that recruited a lot of kids. He's never been arrested, as far as I know. Never been found out about. But
why would you make a file of the perpetrators?
well, because they were all over the country and stuff. And the reason was is he had on these file cards, he had what type of kids this person liked. And these people would like call him and they would like order kids from their own areas, and these guys would like have kids from, like I was a kid from Omaha and I helped supply them with other kids that were my age and stuff to do things for men here in Omaha. And also in Chicago and New York and everything.
So this guy was Chicago?
Yeah,
And he had pictures of the perpetrators?
No, he had file cards. He didn't, Joe Ramos didn't have them. The other guy had them. The other guy got arrested. They found this file card thing. But of course, the FBI, I believe, is the one that arrested them, so it's like any of the files that they didn't want to become public would have probably disappeared.
Well, who was in the file card?
I know Alan Bear was, because I was in this apartment, and I had to make calls to some of these guys. And so when I did, I had to set up appointments for some people, and then I had to call the kids. The kids' files were kept in a different place. I mean, the file, they had over 100,000, I'd say probably close to 100,000 file cards.
Of perpetrators?
From all over the country.
And
that's also where the mailing list came from, to mail out things for...
when was this arrest made?
I don't know what it was made.
When did the FBI obtain these cards?
I'm not sure. It was in the 80s. I'm sure the FBI is the one that got them because they're the ones that were investigating it. They're the ones from
And
Chicago.
where was the arrest made? In Chicago? And who was arrested?
I don't remember what his name was. I've been trying to remember this guy's name, and I can't. All I know is he had been in prison for molesting kids before that. And I arrested him for doing the same thing to some kids and stuff.
And whose name was on there besides Alan Bear?
Oh, Harold Anderson's name was
You know that Anderson's name was on there?
Yeah.
You what? You see it?
Yeah.
Okay. What other names did you see?
Ted Anderson and...
You want to turn that off? It's 11:53, and I have a personal problem. I have to fly back to Los Angeles tomorrow morning first thing, so we will continue this at some date in the future, not too far distant in the future. Thanks very much.